Frieza transforms into a new form. He deems it Black Frieza and unveils the power by easily defeating his foes in their full power forms. Satisfied with their defeated state, he decides to spare them, and after noticing the cowering Oil and Maki, offers to induct them into his army as servants before the trio leaves Cereal. Whis appears and restores Monaito as a favor for Goku and asks Goku and Vegeta to leave with him straight away. Goku asks Granola if he would like to join them for training, though he refuses, instead wanting to find the Dragon Balls to fix the damage on Cereal. Vegeta hands him the Dragon Radar, and Monaito gives Goku his father's scouter just before they take their leave. Goku asks Whis if the Oracle Fish's prophecy was referring to Frieza, to which Whis responds that it may be, or it may be someone else who has emerged in the universe instead. Whis returns with Goku and Vegeta to Beerus, who is confused on how to make yakisoba. Goku and Vegeta are overthinking as to where did Frieza train to get so strong and get 10 years of training before finally figuring out it's some kind of time chamber, making fools out of themselves in front of Beerus. However, Granola goes to fix shit up by wishing it. However, the wish goes wrong. Since Granola was in a rush, he had to make sure Tarambo wishes it as fast as possible so that Frieza doesn't come back. Tarambo is summoned and Granola says his wish as, "I wish the return of the planet back when the Saiyans arrived." Tarambo was confused as to what Granola means, but Granola is in a hurry, so he tells Tarambo to grant it fast. Granola wanted to say to return Cereal back to before the Saiyans' arrival, not return a Saiyan back to when his planet was still there. Tarambo thought that the wish was regarding Vegeta sending him back in time as he is right now mentally, and says that the wish is going to be complicated and will take up a lot of energy. Then gets to it. Granola is confused at that, but before he could ask, the wish is already being processed. Vegeta is talking to Goku and it just blips out of nowhere, leaving the whole gang confused and anxious. Meanwhile, all the way back in age 732, we see Vegeta as a newborn, just been placed into a nursing capsule. King Vegeta is proud to have a new child, eager to check his power level. The prince is sleeping, so the scientists measure the power to be basically measurable, as his counter breaks apart almost immediately. King Vegeta is confused as to what's going on, so the scientists say his power is probably too much for the device, or the device is malfunctioning. Continuing, they say there's one more child with such strength, clocking in at 6500 before breaking the scouter, and that's only when he cries. King Vegeta questions the new breed of Saiyans, wondering if the Saiyan race is evolving due to the King Cold using them for his own needs, so the Saiyan infants are building up the power to overthrow him. What none of them know is that Prince Vegeta is actually all the way back from the future, having been dragged by the forcefulness of a wrong wish. Since he's still a baby, he cannot do much except be in a nursing capsule. He does not remember anything yet, just has the power for now. So the canon events fold out relatively simply, except for the fact that Frieza knows of Vegeta's power, as it cannot be that easily concealed. Ever since Frieza came to rule, he always had weird readings from the palace. Scared, he persuaded the King of Saiyans to gawk out that his son has the best potential out of every other Saiyan and will be a great addition to the army. Frieza wants to make sure of that, so he tells King Vegeta that he will train the boy so that he becomes a good member of the Frieza Force and maybe even be a right-hand man. While in reality, Frieza is planning to brainwash every single Saiyan that is of use to him and destroy the rest. So when Prince Vegeta grew a little and started forming episodic memories, it was all weird to him, like he's already been in the same fight before and predicted the outcome. Or that training session was exactly the same at some point, so he managed to predict the attacks of Cybermen, to which he was already immune to but trained for his reaction time. And then Kakarot came around and was sent off planet because Bardock thought Frieza is planning something. Vegeta has also caught on, and by that time remembered the good majority of the things from his previous life, including on how to access some forms. Vegeta tells Nappa and Raditz if they would like to go back to planet Vegeta, but they don't know how. So he tells them to grab on, and they manage to instant transmission back to planet Vegeta using the memories of training on Yardrat just recently, just to see Bardock in the sky and Frieza about to throw a death ball at the planet. Raditz is scared, but Vegeta tells Nappa to report to the king that Frieza is about to destroy the planet and to get ready for a big showdown. Nappa goes to do so, and so Vegeta's plan for everything begins. King Vegeta rushes out just in time to see his son transform into a Super Saiyan and deflect the blast off of Bardock, who is severely injured from it. Bardock is taken into medical care by the low class, while Vegeta looks at his father and then back at Frieza, who is confused as to what's going on. Vegeta zips right in front of Frieza, finally giving a proper speech to him now that he can actually do it. He goes on to say that he already knows literally everything that he's aiming to do and that he won't get away with it. Frieza is terrified and tries to justify it to Vegeta by saying that it wasn't him who decided the destruction of the planet, but rather Lord Beerus. Vegeta knows about that since Beerus admitted it all in order to move past his issues to achieve Ultra Ego. Frieza has no more ways of saving himself, so Frieza starts pleading for mercy. However, Frieza pulls out Super Saiyan Blue right in front of Frieza and the entire Saiyan race. Vegeta tells Frieza that he's actually been pulled back through time to relive all these moments, blaming and thanking Beerus for doing that, not knowing what actually happened. Frieza is laughing maniacally, calling cap on that, but Vegeta proves it by extending his hand into a Hakai and charging up a Hakai Blast, showing Frieza that he indeed isn't playing. Frieza starts pleading again, asking to be spared and that he will make him second in command in the Frieza Force, just like he wanted it. Vegeta realized what that meant long ago, saying Hakai and making Frieza beg for mercy as he is getting destroyed. Whis senses the destruction energy in his universe, knowing damn well that Beerus is sleeping and is well worried as to if Champa is doing Beerus' work, and so he goes to check it out. Vegeta having destroyed the Tyrant, he drops out of Super Saiyan Blue and speaks to the rest of the Frieza Force. He tells them they are now free to go back to what is left of their planet and families, to take his ship and to get out of there, while he settles shit on his planet. Most of the Force is confused about it all, and some are pissed at Vegeta for killing Frieza and attack him in denial. Vegeta bursts energy out of his body to incinerate the ones that attacked him, which proves the point to the rest of the Force, who gets back into the ship and disappears into the nothingness of space. Vegeta then runs back to the planet, right on his palace, and goes to see his father face to face. He tells his father that he's actually been reborn and sent back into time, retaining his power and memories. He says that in his actual timeline, the planet was destroyed and only him, Bardock's son Kakarot, and Broly remained. King Vegeta is extremely proud of his son and his future achievements and offers the throne, but the prince declines, deciding that he did what he did just because they weren't there and to live as they please from now on. He tells his father to live in harmony and peace now that he has set him free. Prince Vegeta says that he's already the king, but that title means nothing to him, saying that he's gonna get rid of King Cold next and not to search for him. King Vegeta gets angry at that fact that his son is dropping everything and starts powering up a fake moon. Vegeta says how this entire thing is pointless considering he basically used one of his most powerful forms to defeat Frieza when he really didn't have to. King Vegeta tries to shut up his son, asking him where his Saiyan pride is, but Vegeta says there's more to pride than just ruling a planet. Powering up the Power Ball and making a fake moon, King Vegeta transforms into Uzaru and tells his son that the true Saiyan power will never be different from what it is. Vegeta, knowing his control of Uzaru, goes and looks at the moon and he too transforms. Grabbing his father in an arm lock, he tells his father that he can use the Saiyan power at any time and that it hasn't been diminished, just honed into what it was always supposed to be. Whipping his tail, Vegeta punches his dad with it and sends him flying into the palace. Vegeta sees his father unconscious, and as a Saiyan policy, whoever defeated the king is the next king. However, he gives that title to Bardock, who has shown no fear against an aggressive and strong opponent such as Frieza. Also, sensing his power to be a touch higher than his father, he says that he is more than fitting to becoming the next king of the Saiyans and not to disrupt going to Kakarot because he doesn't want the future to change, as he has his own reasons. Instant transmissioning off planet, Vegeta goes straight to King Cold and meets up with him. King Cold is comfortably chilling in his own palace and sipping wine on his little chair. He greets Vegeta, asking him what he's doing here, and Vegeta gets straight to the point. He says that he will kill him where he stands, and Cold, as he doesn't really believe it, knowing that Frieza is taking care of him and training him to be an obedient little child. Vegeta says that he just killed Frieza and to skip the niceties. King Cold doesn't believe it and contacts a random scouter, to which a random ex-soldier responds that Prince Vegeta set them free and they're no longer ruled over by him, ending the conversation. King Cold is weirded out and then gets up from his seat, spilling the wine and starting the battle. Vegeta already calls out Cold for using only his second form and that, if he's not a pussy, to release his final form. To which King Cold happily obliges and starts transforming into what seems to be the third form. Vegeta isn't impressed and already knows the tactics of theirs, showing him that it's not enough by smacking him back into his throne and leaving Cold shook. Cold is then forced to use 100% of his power, and he actually goes to power up fully, thinking that his 100% will allow him to win. However, Vegeta lets him know he can easily defeat him in base power, no matter how much more power he puts in. King Cold finishes the power up and goes to attack, only for Vegeta to tank the blow without even flinching or shedding a speck of blood. Vegeta then grabs Cold's arm and snaps it clean off, making King Cold back away in fear and also pleading for mercy. Vegeta isn't done yet though. He starts transforming into his ultra ego and making King Cold shit his pants at the sight of it. Vegeta finishes the transformation, flaring his aura and watching King Cold shiver in fear and back away every so often, continuously asking on how is this possible for a child to attain the power of destroyers, and even a Saiyan at that. He shares the same story that he did to his son, and that he has been reborn with memories and powers which he has accumulated on his own if everything went as per normal. King Cold calls it cap, but Vegeta calls out Beerus and how he trained him over in the timeline to become a destroyer, and that his best friend there has the power of an angel attendant. King Cold, in his final moments, is trying to fathom the knowledge before Vegeta raises his hand and doing a Hakai, destroying King Cold off for good. Vegeta, now satisfied with that, has a few more things to do, and one of which is to prevent what got him here in the first place from happening. So he goes to instant transmission over to planet Cereal, where the events unfolded there, and sees the Heaters standing there, plotting their next attack. Vegeta instant transmissioning in the midst of it, thinking it was the Heaters that did the entire thing, goes right in the middle of the crowd, and, while still in his ultra ego, absolutely obliterates everyone there with a one swift key explosion. As no one expected it, they were all pretty much vulnerable to it and all got blasted away into nothingness. Granola, still a child, doesn't know what's going on, but does recognize a Saiyan because of Vegeta's tail, wondering if Bardock sent a Saiyan warrior to help them out get rid of the tyranny. With Vegeta looking at the young Granola, he smiles to him, winks, and putting his fingers on his forehead, disappears into the smoke. Then there's one last misjustice that occurred and that Vegeta wants to fix. He searches for the energy of Broly, remembering it and instant transmissioning there. Over at Vampa, he sees Broly chilling out with Ba, as they're bonding quite well, with Paragus getting angry at the Beast for hanging out with Broly and not letting him train. Vegeta startles Paragus, greeting him, and Paragus looks at Vegeta, then shouting out for Broly. Broly is there in an instant, ready for the fight, as he's rushing Vegeta. Vegeta simply paralyzes the young boy by grabbing his tail and telling Paragus that he isn't here to hurt him, but to correct the injustice his father did. Elaborating, saying that Frieza and King Cold are no more and that his father is not the king anymore. So all bans are lifted as a result, and they are once again welcome back to planet Vegeta to live normally. Paragus doesn't believe it and calls cap on it. Paragus starts shooting him with a key gun he has on the waist, and as much as he thought he's gonna do something, Vegeta is just standing there and still in his ultra ego and just tanking every hit. Vegeta drops back to base and keeps on letting Paragus hit him, but nothing happens. Vegeta then goes in instant transmissions to get Paragus a spaceship to go back home, but ends up having a better idea. Since Paragus is still mad, he decides to leave Broly with Goku so that the two grow up together. Knowing Goku's innocent nature, he will be able to hone Broly into a good Saiyan comrade and actually someone civilized. Vegeta regrets it though when he leaves Broly with Goku, since he realized that Goku wasn't civilized, nor is civilized, as he grew up in the woods. In either case, he picks up a pod from planet Vegeta and brings it over to Paragus, saying that now he can travel back if he so wishes, and instant transmissioning away from Wampa. Vegeta is now on a random planet, wondering on what to do, and doesn't quite know what to do now that he's here. With all this knowledge and not being able to use it for good, Vegeta then decides to go over to Yardra to train up a bit more, to master every ability they have, and also to live there. So he goes over to Yardra, but then he realizes that he is unknown there, so he has to make an impression. Meanwhile, Whis has arrived to planet Vegeta and looks around to see no one. He's questioning his sanity, knowing that he sensed the destroyer key in multiple places across the galaxy, all on different planets. He looks in his staff and seeks for anything regarding destroyer key. What he finds confuses him. A lone Saiyan kid using the power of the destroyers and even destroying Frieza, King Cold, and slaughtering some others. He looks a bit closer to recognize King Vegeta's son to be that lone Saiyan child. He's confused, but then seeks for the key signature and finds it on planet Yardrat, so he quickly rushes there. Vegeta in the meantime didn't need much to befriend the Yardratians, especially considering the fact that he's shown them their own techniques, so he became quite liked there. He wanted to get a bit of training from them, and they were quite happy to do so, up until Whis came around and greeted the Saiyan ex-prince. Vegeta recognizes Whis and is quite respectful, knowing that Whis only knows him from planet Vegeta. Whis is confused as to how Vegeta knows all that he displayed, including the Yardratian techniques. But Vegeta wants to take it someplace safe because he doesn't want to leak these kinds of things in front of regular mortals. Whis weirdly agrees, and so they arrive on Beerus' world using Vegeta's instant transmission. Vegeta then starts the explanation. Whis is prepared to listen to Vegeta, and Vegeta then starts. Vegeta starts the explanation on how he was just suddenly reborn without knowing anything of what's going on. The last thing he knows is that he was fighting the Heaters on planet Cereal, and that after that, Black Frieza came around. Whis was kind of confused about Black Frieza, so Vegeta had to explain it. And then once they returned back on Beerus' world, he just blipped out of existence and started falling through a rift, eventually gaining consciousness and waking up as pretty much a toddler. He started collecting some memories, and from that point on, started getting more and more of the memories from his old past self. Whis has a lot to take in and is wondering on what's going on. Whis knows that it's only possible through the Super Dragon Balls, but Vegeta said they're out of commission and been so the entire time, so there is no other way than some kind of sheer luck, or if there is another dragon that can grant a similar wish of the same power magnitude. Whis is kind of confused, not knowing what to say about the entire situation, and just tells Vegeta that at this point, he cannot really do much about it and has to live his new life, even though it's all over again. And so, with a heavy heart, asks Whis again to train him so that he could become a destroyer in this universe. Whis actually accepts, but not because of a judgment call, but because of a gut feeling that everything that Vegeta just said is actually true. And so, the training begins. Over on Earth, Goku is now Goku instead of Kakarot, and even Broly was found by Grandpa Gohan. And even though Goku was a kind-hearted Saiyan, Broly on the other hand didn't hit his head and is still just a normal Saiyan kid. Still tireless and also with a big appetite, which forces Grandpa Gohan to go and catch even more food for the two Saiyans instead of just one. The canon events go completely 180, and the only difference is that Grandpa Gohan still dies. The reason why, even though Broly is there, is that when Goku transforms into a great ape and starts trashing the place, Grandpa Gohan was the first to go out while Broly was asleep. And so Broly slept through most of the thing up until he was awoken by basically his entire house getting destroyed. And so when he came out, he already saw Grandpa Gohan right under the feet of the great ape Goku. And so Broly got mad and started trashing Goku all the way inwards, outwards, and upwards up until he got tired out and got out of the great ape form completely unconscious. Broly saw what he has done and who exactly it was, and so Broly recollected a lot of memories from Vampa, all the way back from when he was becoming a great ape. So from this point on, Goku and Broly are now a duo that have just lost their main income of food and now have to survive in a harsh reality called wilderness. Back to Vegeta and Whis on Beerus' world, Whis is training Vegeta to calm his focus so that his fighting is a lot more efficient, and the way he did it is through meditation. Vegeta already knew a bit of meditation, so he decided to try it out in hopes of actually getting it very good on this try, and so he did. And he has gotten so good at it that once he goes and spars with Whis, Ultra Ego does not work. He's always calm. He doesn't have the thrill of the battle that gives Ultra Ego its actual reputation, and so he just goes along with normal Super Saiyan Blue. However, in no time at all, Vegeta accesses autonomous Ultra Instinct, which he was wanting to achieve for so long back in his old life. Whis is feeling prideful about the young Saiyan, and Vegeta has the fate to go even further beyond into mastered Ultra Instinct, and even says it out loud, to which Whis asks if that was actually made possible. And so Vegeta goes on to explain how Goku, a Saiyan from Earth that was sent there to protect him, actually managed to achieve Ultra Instinct and mastered Ultra Instinct, and just recently perfected Ultra Instinct. Whis is astonished at the Saiyan race, wondering why did Beerus want to destroy them when they have all this potential at their disposal. Vegeta says that he has no clue, and so continues on with the training so that he attains Master Ultra Instinct and to perfect that. Whis sees that Vegeta is genuinely serious about the whole destroyer thing, so Whis gives Vegeta some destroyer robes and tells him to get comfortable in them because he's going to be wearing them next, and actually quite soon as well. Vegeta likes that, and so the training resumes. In a few months, Vegeta has already mastered Ultra Instinct, and in the meantime, while he's relaxing, he goes to Earth to check on things. He senses Broly and Goku at the same time, and he senses that Goku is actually quite a bit more powerful than he used to be, and even managed to shadow his old past self when Raditz came to Earth first time, as his power level is at around 2000 while Broly is still at his regular power level. Broly is now somewhat of an adult while Goku is still a kid. As Broly and Vegeta are basically the same age, he can already tell that Broly and Goku are basically like brothers. In either case, he leaves them to be. Meanwhile with them, Goku and Broly have decided to go home from a fishing trip and go over to the 4-star Dragon Ball that Grandpa Gohan left them. As they're pretty stupid like Goku was in the original, they go and pray to the Dragon Ball. And just as unannounced, Bulma comes by and Goku attacks the car that she drives in. Broly recognizes the car, so he tells Goku to step back while Broly goes to deal with business. He is also clueless as to who it is, as much as at the fact that Bulma is actually a girl, not a boy. Bulma introduces herself and her intentions, and Goku is still on his guard, but Broly actually has something going on, so he asks what she's doing here. Bulma explains that she's searching for something called Dragon Balls, explaining them like orange orbs with stars in them, and that there's 7 of them, and she's the one seeking for them, as they can grant anything they desire. Broly is now interested, and so is Goku. But then, Broly remembers that they have an exact Dragon Ball with 4 stars back at Grandpa Gohan's place. So they're kind of skeptical as to what's going on and if she's not just a poacher or something. But they still go on guard and take her to Grandpa Gohan's house. Once there, Bulma recognizes the Dragon Ball and runs for it to go and grab it. Broly stops her and says not so fast as he goes to ask for her intentions again. Bulma says that whatever she just said is true and even suggests to go along with her, just so she could prove her point. Goku and Broly are still skeptical but like the idea of going with her. Bulma then gets sus and goes to show her panties to both Goku and Broly. Goku is confused and Broly knows what she's doing, so Goku does what he does in the original and Broly says that he's not horny and that will not work on him. Bulma gets angry, and with that, Broly actually catches feelings towards the Earthling and even says it out loud to her. Bulma actually blushes, but then keeps her composure and asks again for the tides. However, Broly just kindly rejects that and tells Bulma that he will indeed go along with her and that he will take Goku as well. Bulma is more than ecstatic, and so the trio goes to search for the Dragon Balls, taking the Grandpa Gohan's Dragon Ball as well. But as everything is fine and dandy on Earth, on Beerus' world, Beerus actually awoke about 20 years way too early, and the very first thing he senses is a destroyer power on his world, so he rushes out to check it out. Over there, he sees Whis training someone that looks somewhat like a Saiyan, confirming that with a tail. Beerus then confronts Vegeta. Beerus furiously rushes over to Vegeta, to whom Vegeta just looks at Beerus, kind of scared as well. Beerus asks who he is and what he's doing on his planet. Vegeta, as to not confuse him, tells him that he's just a regular Saiyan who has found Whis and is now training with him. Knowing how to lie and all, Beerus actually takes it. However, he's still doubtful of Whis' intentions, so he asks Whis what's actually going on. And so, Whis carefully explains it all. Whis then shows Beerus everything there is to know with his staff, and Beerus is confused, just like Whis was. Vegeta basically confirms it, and so Whis goes on to tell that Vegeta is actually not from this time, but about 40 or 50 years from the future. Beerus is completely confused, not knowing something like this can happen at all. And for a good reason, Beerus now has a little bit of a doubt and so challenges Vegeta for a battle. Vegeta is confused as to why does Beerus require a battle, but regardless, they start fighting. Vegeta displays his Ultra Instinct right from the start, knowing Beerus' full power. Beerus already knows that he's gonna get folded, considering that Vegeta knows Mastered Ultra Instinct. Vegeta is a bit stressed but focused as the battle begins. Beerus goes for an assault, which Vegeta easily avoids and then counters with a simple kick to the chin, which sends Beerus flying into a tree. Beerus comes back but also loses his Ultra Instinct. He tries tapping into it, but it doesn't really work, and so Vegeta goes back down to normal autonomous Ultra Instinct and continues the battle, to which Beerus is kind of scared. Beerus tells Vegeta that he knows what his intentions are and that he's trying to become a destroyer and dethrone him. Vegeta stops the small skirmish and now knows exactly why Beerus wanted to fight, and says that he didn't really want to become a destroyer and that Whis basically put him up to the task. With that short fight, Beerus starts screaming at Whis, to which Whis gets kinda flustered and nervous at the same time, telling Beerus that it was for the greater good as all he does is sleeping. Beerus kind of confirms that, but at the same time says that he's been a destroyer for millions of years, and if someone wanted to dethrone him, it would have been done a long time ago. Vegeta then chimes in, saying that back in his timeline, he had someone he needed to constantly surpass, and that is Kakarot, who right now has no special powers and is a kid as well. So instead, he decided that Beerus is the next foe he could be going up against. And so he just decided to go for the God of Destruction just for the shits and giggles. But then realized that Beerus will always be a destroyer no matter how much of the destructive power he manages to get, and that only if Beerus dies, he will take on the mantle. Beerus instantly gains respect of Vegeta, and so the two form a bond. Vegeta then asks for new robes as to not look like a God of Destruction, but just a regular pupil on his planet. Whis has an idea, and so he gives Vegeta some new gi and also tells him to go change. Vegeta does so, and now we see Vegeta in his new clothes, which are kind of similar to Goku's super gi that Goku used when he first started training with Whis. Vegeta is kind of cringing at the fact that he has to wear that same gi, but his is blue, so he doesn't really have any problems with that. In either case, Whis and Beerus go to destroy some stuff and take Vegeta along for the ride, wanting to know what Beerus does as his usual job. And so, Beerus, Whis, and Vegeta go to destroy some planets and bring some equilibrium to the universe. And so, after a bit of tripping, they find their first casualty, to which Vegeta doesn't have any rhyme or reason as to why the planet has to be destroyed, and so tells Beerus the same. Beerus says that he doesn't understand what a true destroyer should be doing, and so goes to try out the food, doesn't like it, and so begins destroying the planet, to which Vegeta intervenes by stopping the Hakai blast and chugging it right back at Beerus. Beerus is livid, wanting to Vegeta to explain why he did that, and so Vegeta goes on to explain how food doesn't make a planet or its residents, but rather what they do, and so he tells Beerus to kindly screw off and that he will take the position of a god if he really must. Beerus, knowing that Vegeta is way stronger than him, gets scared and so goes along to find an actual planet that actually needs to get destroyed, and so they go along. They ask Vegeta to go and find some other planets so that they can destroy them, and so Vegeta delegates about a few planets that have been a part of the Frieza Force and that have to get destroyed. And so the trio goes. They go on a few planets and Beerus goes on to destroy the remainder of the Frieza Force who stayed loyal to the Frieza Force, and leaving out the rest of the innocents. Now that Beerus has actually done a good job, Vegeta congratulates him and gives him a little bit of a treat. He tells them to go to Earth and that all three of them will get the best food in the universe. Beerus doubts that, but Vegeta says that he's been in the future and that he basically knows exactly what Beerus likes. Whis says why not, and Beerus is kinda pissed, and so the trio goes to Earth. On Earth, they find the restaurant and they go on to chowing. Beerus tries a few things and he loves them, along with Whis. Neither of them had their taste buds be so blessed with food, and so they thank Vegeta for the chow. Vegeta says no problem and then goes on to check on Goku and Broly, to which both of them are adults now. Well, Goku is still a teen and he still finds Chi-Chi. He goes on to the World Martial Arts Tournament where it all starts happening, and so he goes and introduces himself to Broly and Goku. Goku doesn't know Vegeta at all, but Broly at first starts getting mad at Vegeta. But after remembering Master Roshi's training, he just stops, asking Vegeta what he's doing here. Vegeta says that it's a long story, but he wants to remain on Earth and live here. Broly gets angry and telling Vegeta that he literally kidnapped him from his father, to which Vegeta counter-arguments by comparing his previous life and his new life, saying that before he was constantly controlled into doing something he wasn't wanting to do, and now he basically lives his own life, even wants to train whatever he wants and whenever he wants. Broly takes that in and realizes it, and then says sorry to Vegeta, powering down. Vegeta then inquires about their tails, and both Broly and Goku have theirs, but they said that Kami destroyed the moon, and that they either have to master the ability or cut their tails off. Vegeta says it is not needed, as he's literally here to train them. He says that once they turn into a Super Saiyan, and once they master controlling the Primal Rage, it is going to be automatically normal for them to have and control Uzaru, to which both of them get excited. All while, Bulma comes up from behind Vegeta and greets him, kind of in a rizzy tone. Vegeta remembers Bulma and remembers all the good times he had in his timeline, but now he realizes that they're not married nor have children right now. So he asks to act stupid and asks Goku and Broly who that is. Goku said that this used to be Broly's ex and Yamcha's ex, and that is Bulma. Broly elaborates how they managed to meet up quite a while back, and that they used to be good friends up until they started dating, and then once it didn't work out, they became normal friends again. That gives a bit of hope to Vegeta, considering that he already had Bulma before, so might as well have her now as well. And so they decide to have a little bit of fun and start talking, completely ignoring both Goku and Broly, so Goku has to return Vegeta back to his universe. Broly sees that Vegeta and Bulma are clicking really well, and so just lets them be. However, he does ask about the training regimen and when do they start. So Vegeta says that they will start tomorrow, and then they will work their way up until they're just as strong, if not maybe even stronger than him. To which to Vegeta, it's a complete jinx. However, he has something in the back of his mind saying that they will surpass him one way or another. Excited, the two boys go back to Master Roshi's and tell him they have a new teacher. After delivering the very exciting news to Master Roshi explains to them that they have to defeat Piccolo Jr. before it's too late. Goku and Broly remember the entire mission, and Vegeta overhears this. He says that he will manage it all on his own, and so goes up to Piccolo Jr. Piccolo Jr. isn't very fond of this new guy. However, Vegeta tells Piccolo Jr. to make either Goku or Broly as mad as they can get. Piccolo Jr. obliges, not knowing exactly what's going on, and then Vegeta tells Piccolo Jr. to kick him into a mountain. And so Piccolo Jr. does, not knowing anything that's about to happen. And so Goku and Broly come to aid to Vegeta, and Vegeta says that they will probably get folded, however, not to give up. Goku will not definitely give up, however Broly has his suspicions, and so he goes over to Piccolo Jr. himself. Piccolo Jr. however completely ignores him and waits on the battle. The events of the tournament go pretty much like the original, except for the fact that Yamcha isn't there and is replaced by Broly. And all goes the same up until the point Goku and Piccolo Jr. enter the ring. Piccolo Jr. remembers the end goal of his, but also exactly what Vegeta told him. And so, instead of focusing on only his revenge, he, in his mind, is technically destroying them mentally as well. But to Vegeta, it's actually a surprise for them. So Goku and Piccolo Jr. go at it up until Piccolo Jr. decides to blow the entire shit up, kidnap Chi-Chi, and also tell him to give up. Goku gets really scared, but also angry as well, deciding to release his rage out and then trying to land a blow on Piccolo Jr. Although he succeeds, Vegeta however does have a small nerf up his sleeves. He tells Beerus to kinda nerf Goku in a way so that he will become weaker against Piccolo Jr. Not completely paralyze him, but enough so that he doesn't get any power-ups. Beerus does so, and so Goku becomes weaker, which allows Piccolo Jr. to throw Goku around. Piccolo Jr. then contacts Vegeta through his mind and asks what to do next. And so Vegeta, out of all things he can do, tells Piccolo to go and hurt Chi-Chi and kill Krillin, as he knows that Goku used to become a Super Saiyan when Krillin was killed by Frieza. And so Piccolo Jr. does so. He throws Chi-Chi into the building and goes up to Krillin, stabs him, and then slices his head off. Goku is now standing still, looking at now dead Krillin's body. Goku gets real furious, and Vegeta just thanks Piccolo Jr. and watches on for the show that's coming up next. Goku gets furious, raging from the death of his best friend, and starts powering up. His aura becomes golden, as well as his hair spiking up and turning golden every so often. In no time, Goku becomes a Super Saiyan for the first time and looks menacingly at Piccolo Jr. Vegeta then tells Beerus to nerf Goku even more, and so Beerus does so. Goku then, being a slightly bit more overpowered, goes and decks Piccolo Jr. all around the place. So, Piccolo Jr. lost, and Goku is technically the winner of the tournament. However, before he could come up and destroy Piccolo Jr., Kami comes by and tells Goku not to do that, as he too will die. Goku gets back to his senses and goes out of his Super Saiyan form and asks Kami how does he know that, before realizing that Kami actually told him why, and that if Piccolo dies, Kami dies as well. Vegeta then comes up to Goku, congratulating him on achieving Super Saiyan, and also tells him that Krillin was actually meant to be killed the entire time, because he was the one that actually planned it. Goku gets furious, turning into a Super Saiyan and attacking Vegeta, thinking that he will do something to him. But Vegeta just tanks the blows like they're nothing. Vegeta is explaining to Goku how this was the training the entire time, how he wanted him to access this form so that he can control it more. Goku stops and looks at his hands and then at his aura and realizes that he has changed, that his aura is golden, his hairs went up, and is also a blondie, and then realizes what has actually happened. His power has spiked up drastically and is right now pretty much stronger than anyone else on Earth. And so with that little adventure, Vegeta opts to get the Dragon Radar and get the Dragon Balls to wish Krillin back to life. Goku realizes that he knows about the Dragon Balls, so he inquires about the knowledge. Vegeta just says that he has some past experience with the Dragon Balls and just goes along with it. Broly, however, thinking that Vegeta is trying to scam them out of a wish, and so goes along with Vegeta to confirm that the wish Vegeta said he will get is what he actually gets. In no time, Broly and Vegeta manage to find all the Dragon Balls and summon Shenron, and then Vegeta wishes for Krillin back to life. Krillin is back and everyone is happy, at least for a while. After 5 years, everything is really peaceful. Goku has now married to Chi-Chi and even has a son named Gohan. Vegeta settles down with Bulma and is at Capsule Corp and also has a kid. His name is Trunks. Broly, however, doesn't find anything specific. He starts dating other women, but none of the women actually like him training at all times, and so winds up being with Tights, Bulma's sister. However though, they do not have kids as of yet. Vegeta, since he's situated at Capsule Corp, he gets his proper armor right back, which means the original look of his is restored. However, not everything is fine and dandy, as Planet Sadala, previously known as Planet Vegeta, is now currently being ruled by Bardock. Bardock is worrying about his youngest son, and so he tells Raditz to go to Earth to check shit out. Raditz obliges, and so gets in a space pod and leaves. On Earth, Goku, Vegeta, and Broly are all training together over at Capsule Corp, using Bulma's gravity machine, which she has built. All of a sudden, Goku senses a disturbance over on Earth, and so does everyone else. Vegeta recognizes the key from long ago, back when he was still at Planet Vegeta, and pretty much knows who it is. Broly senses it too, however he does not know who it is, and so Goku goes to check it out, along with Vegeta and Broly in tow. Upon getting there, Raditz gets out of his pod and sees a farmer with a shotgun. However, he doesn't kill him, rather he just tells what he's here for and just leaves. As Raditz is flying mid-air, Goku stops him right in mid-air and asks who he is. Vegeta just falls right behind and tells him that that is Raditz, Goku's brother. Vegeta then takes one look at Raditz and sees that Raditz isn't wearing the usual royal outfit, but rather a regular combat suit. Then Vegeta asks if he's here to destroy the Earth, but Raditz says no. Much rather to bring Goku back to Earth, or how he says it, Kakarot. Goku doesn't know of his old Saiyan planet and so engages combat with Raditz to see where his brother stands. And so Goku immediately goes into Super Saiyan and starts attacking Raditz, to which Raditz is amazed. Vegeta is also amazed that Goku managed to master Super Saiyan in these 5 years, considering that he didn't really have much time to train, considering he had a child. Goku mentioned how he basically split the time 50-50 in between actually taking care of Gohan and training. So he basically put the 2 and 2 together. However, as Goku is explaining all of that, Raditz is amazed that his brother already has a family on this planet, and so decides not to disrupt it, going right back to his space pod. But before he enters it, Raditz displays his own Super Saiyan, which amazes all 3 of the Saiyans currently present in the entire moment, and then gets in the space pod and leaves. Vegeta is completely confused as to what just happened. Meanwhile, Goku and Broly see that they indeed have a very good brother. Vegeta has to debunk it, saying that it's not Broly's brother, but it is indeed Kakarot's. Raditz comes back to the new planet Sadala and goes to his father Bardock. He says that Kakarot actually has a family there and also knows Super Saiyan much like them. Bardock is amazed at both of those inquiries and so just tells Raditz to go and watch over his little brother, just in case. Raditz, annoyed, goes to his space pod and then goes back to Earth. In the meantime, Goku, Vegeta and Broly are all at Capsule Corp, with Vegeta wondering how did Raditz get Super Saiyan out of all people. But before he gets into any more detail, the space pod eventually arrives again, but this time right in front of Capsule Corp, as Raditz gets out and then tells Goku that he's gonna stay here and watch over him for a while. Goku doesn't really have any concerns about it, but Vegeta does, wondering on how in the actual hell did Raditz get a Super Saiyan transformation, and so goes to seek answers from him. Vegeta goes up to Raditz and asks him, and so Raditz shares a story. Raditz says that shortly after Planet Vegeta was renamed, Bardock, as he had all the resources to train on disposal, decided to train up. Shortly after, Cooler came by, saying that the Saiyans have to pay a price for killing off his father and brother. Bardock was kind of confused but still engaged in battle, and he was heavily overpowered by Cooler. Bardock, in a last-ditch effort, decided to go full power and then even further beyond to power up his last attack, but it did nothing. So as it is in Cooler's nature, he decided to get rid of Gine, killing her. And so with that little death, Bardock became mad. And so he went Super Saiyan for the very first time and decided to defeat Cooler. Cooler was dead and Bardock unlocked a Super Saiyan transformation, and then decided that he would train it and hone it so that he can access it at will. Once he did, he trained Raditz and the rest of the Saiyans in order to get their own Super Saiyan transformations. Some of them were still evil a little bit, so they had a harder time accessing the form. But in the essence, the entire Saiyan race now has the Super Saiyan form, thanks to Bardock. Vegeta is actually fucking amazed that all of this happened in his absence and on his time on Earth. Jokingly, Vegeta now says that since he's no longer a prince, he has to call Raditz Prince Raditz, to which Raditz replies that no, he is a prince, but he doesn't require a title to be one. But he will still call Vegeta Prince Vegeta due to his old title. Vegeta is fine with that, and so Raditz starts living on Earth along with the 3 of the Saiyans. After 3 years, the entirety of the Earth is at peace. Goku, Broly, Vegeta, and Raditz are all training, and Vegeta taught them how to go Super Saiyan 2 at will so that they do not have any issues battling the androids. He knows that at some point Trunks will arrive, his son, from the future, and that he will tell them exactly what happens in the future timeline. But considering Frieza and King Cold are killed, future Trunks has to come in the different way. So, in no time, future Trunks knocks on Capsule Corp's door and asks for Vegeta. Vegeta comes down in his gi, all sweaty from his last training, and so he notices that it's future Trunks, and so goes to greet him. Future Trunks has no real idea on how does he know that he's gonna come here, but Vegeta completely destroys the argument and then says that he already knows, reciting the date, time, and who will arrive. Future Trunks is amazed and wonders if that is Vegeta from his timeline. But Vegeta says no, he isn't from this timeline, but he's close enough. Vegeta also says that they do not need info, but they do need the antidote in case of the heart virus. Future Trunks is amazed that his father already knows all that information, and so just gives his father the antidote for the heart virus, and then he is about to go away, but then Vegeta invites him for a coffee, and so Future Trunks stays a little while longer. On a coffee break, Vegeta briefly explains to Future Trunks who he is and from which timeline he is. Future Trunks is amazed at that story and is wondering how the timelines actually work. If it's maybe just a continuous stream, or maybe just a bunch of universes all in the same place. Kind of like a multiverse of timelines. Vegeta says that it's a multiverse theory, and then goes on to explain it. Future Trunks now knows that the future will not be changed, and that he will return back to a future which is still damaged. Vegeta apologizes for being the bearer of bad news, but he tells Future Trunks that in no time, he will also have the power to defeat Cell and all the androids. Future Trunks inquires on Cell, but Vegeta says not to worry about him and just to go back to his timeline. Future Trunks does so, and so Vegeta starts preparing for the next 3 years. During those 3 years, no one really trained as much. They all trained to maintain their power and not to grow it out, and so they didn't really do much considering that the planet was already safe as is, but Vegeta kept his mouth shut, knowing that he could easily defeat Cell and all of the androids all on his own. And so, in no time, they got a distress call in South City, saying that 2 people are starting to destroy the buildings and people. Vegeta knows exactly the time and place, and so he guides the Z fighters over to the place of battle. Over at the outskirts, Vegeta says to split up even though he knows the approximate location of the androids, and so he follows Yamcha until they find Yamcha and start throwing him apart. However, Vegeta comes by and destroys both of the androids, leaving Yamcha to be barely alive, giving him a senzu. Vegeta, even though he keeps all of the secrets, Yamcha still seen him completely obliterating the androids in his base form. All while the rest of the Z fighters had to use their Super Saiyan transformations, even with Broly. And so, Vegeta tells Yamcha to keep his mouth shut as to not destroy the bond between the Saiyans and him. And so, Yamcha shuts the fuck up. Vegeta then tells Yamcha that the androids they were looking for were not these, but actually they're over at Dr. Jiro's secret lab. And so, when the rest of the Z fighters arrive, they all go to Jiro's secret lab. Over there, Future Trunks also arrives, asking if the threat is eliminated. Vegeta says not to worry, as the threats haven't been eliminated yet, however, he has a very good plan. He yoinks Future Trunks' wristwatch and contacts Bulma, saying that they're over at Dr. Jiro's secret lab, and that they need her in order to get the androids out and reprogram them, so that they're good instead of hunting Goku. Goku at this point has already taken his medication and has just a very mild fever, which means he's still training. In either case, Bulma comes by and takes a good look at the androids, noticing that there's 3 of them. Trunks is kind of confused at the miscalculation of his, however, he knows that they're completely harmless in this stage. And so, Bulma takes the capsules of all 3 of them and takes all of them to her lab. Future Trunks now knows everything is safe. However, Vegeta tells Broly that there is a new threat arising and to be on very high alert, because at some point the city will be ransacked and that he is the only line of defense that is actually strong enough to take him down. Broly is weirded out, however, he agrees to Vegeta's offer. Meanwhile, Vegeta and Future Trunks go in the hyperbolic time chamber so that Vegeta could train his son up. And so, Broly is now the guard of the entire city, as he goes and skirmishes around until he finds the culprit, with the culprit being Cell. Cell is over there and absorbing people, and so Broly comes by and asks what is he doing. Cell replies that he's over here to collect some energy before he could go and find the androids so that he could absorb them. Broly says not today and starts powering up a blast so that he could destroy Cell there and then. However, Cell tanks it and then uses the very same double Sunday Broly used on Broly. Cell is growing visibly impatient with Broly, asking where the androids are. Broly says that they are safe and sound in a nearby location, and so Cell knows exactly where it is. Considering that they don't really have enough safe locations, he immediately assumes it's Capsule Corp. So he tanks Broly and gets out of there. Broly, however, follows Cell at a distance and then initiates a battle. Turning Super Saiyan, he goes after Cell and kicks him to the ground. Cell is becoming kind of annoyed, so he returns fire. Broly can still manage, however, he goes Super Saiyan 2 just in case and then throws Cell around. Cell is still imperfect, so his power isn't nearly as much. However, he still rivals about 75% of Broly's Super Saiyan 2 once Cell powered up to his full power. Goku went to check it out, seeing that there's something going on, and goes to aid Broly. With the combined efforts of both Goku and Broly in their Super Saiyan 2, Cell is now disintegrated. However, not for long, as Cell comes back a little bit stronger than last time. And this time, Goku and Broly see that Cell is able to regenerate. And of course, after seeing his power, they also see that Cell is now on par with both of them. Because having Broly's DNA, Cell's Zenkai multiplier is way greater than anyone else's, any Saiyans ever. So, the two Saiyans now have to decide what to do. Broly is thinking about something and then tells Goku to stand down, as Broly has a special ace up his sleeve. Goku listens, and then Broly goes on and starts powering up. He doesn't really think that it will make any difference. However, sensing the power he's able to generate, he has a little bit of faith. Goku even notices that the amount of power Broly is generating is incredibly high, and so Goku stands down fully. Broly then screams, as his aura turns green and also his power spikes drastically. His hair becomes a little bit of a greenish tint and then transforming into a legendary Super Saiyan. However, there is a small problem. Broly cannot control it, and so he becomes a berserker and starts throwing everything around. Goku tries confronting Broly, however Broly just throws him in the ground and then goes over to Cell and beats Cell's ass as well. Cell is trying to hold on, but just as Cell is about to throw back, Broly throws a mount beam point blank at Cell. Cell is immediately caught in the middle of it and then disintegrates into nothingness, not leaving a single cell behind. Broly has defeated Cell. However, he has not defeated the fact that he cannot control his power and starts rampaging everywhere. Goku tries calming him down, however, Broly is too much. And because of that, Broly has gone out of his legendary Super Saiyan and goes unconscious. Meanwhile, with Vegeta and Trunks, Vegeta displays Trunks' every single form that he has, with Trunks being completely flabbergasted at the fact that his father has all these forms in his arsenal. Vegeta displays all the way from God forms to Ultra Instinct to Ultra Ego, and manages to impress Trunks, and then teaches Trunks God Ki and also Super Saiyan God, just like the way he was trained. And so since a Saiyan has been training a Saiyan, and also that Trunks is a hybrid, Trunks learns all of that in less than 2 months. And so only a couple hours later, Vegeta and Trunks exit the time chamber. They go visit Capsule Corp where Goku and Broly are and hear about the great news that Broly has managed to defeat Cell all on his own. They elaborate how Broly has managed to unlock a new form which is still a Super Saiyan but looks green. Vegeta's memories come back from fighting Broly along with Goku and then explains that it's the legendary Super Saiyan form, which is many times more powerful than a regular Super Saiyan. Broly, however, wishes that he could control the form, and so Vegeta tells him that instead of just relying on rage to make it work, but rather to try and dig deep within his power instead of letting the rage do so. Broly thinks about it and then tries to focus. He digs deep within his power and then lets it all out, revealing the legendary Super Saiyan, and this time he's in full control. Trunks then gets really excited and goes into his Super Saiyan God, wanting to test Broly's control. Everyone sees Super Saiyan God first time and then wonders on what it is, and Vegeta explains it as Super Saiyan God, basically an ancient form which is only accessible through a ritual. However, him and Trunks managed to unlock it during training. So, with that little speech, Trunks and Broly begin to skirmish. Trunks tells Broly to go all out right from the start, and so Broly does so. He powers up to his full power and then goes at Trunks. Trunks sees the immense strength of the legendary Super Saiyan, however, Super Saiyan God is still way more powerful. And so they spar for a bit, and then Trunks displays the full extent of the Super Saiyan God, to which everyone is amazed, including Broly. In either case, now that Cell is defeated, Trunks can now go back and defeat the androids and Cell on his own. And as for the rest of the Saiyans in this current timeline, they all go and ask Vegeta to train them Super Saiyan God. Vegeta says sure, however, he has something else on mind. He realizes that Majin Buu still exists, and so goes to get rid of him once and for all. From his past life, he remembers the exact location of Babidi's ship and he goes there, not telling anyone where he's going. Upon arrival, he gets to the Babidi's ship and then places his hand on it. Saying Hakai, he destroys the entire ship, which collapses all of the dirt and stone right where it was. And so Babidi, Yakan, Pui Pui, and Deborah are all exposed. Vegeta goes into his Ultra Instinct and goes down to them. One by one, Vegeta destroys each and every single one of them up until getting to Buu's cocoon, destroying it as well. However, along with those memories from his past, he also remembers the fact that he doesn't belong here, that he entered a completely new timeline and basically converted the past. He knows he does not belong there, and so thinks about getting the Super Dragon Balls and attempting to go back. And so a few days later, he goes over to Goku, telling him that he has something important to say. Goku listens to Vegeta, and so they have a private conversation. He tells Goku how he knows he doesn't belong here and that he wants to go back. Goku is dumbstruck and wonders why. Vegeta says that sure, he did form a new family in here and that it's all going well, however, he still does not belong here. Goku tries bargaining with Vegeta, saying that he doesn't have to go and that he can just live here, that Bulma can just build him an entirely new time machine. However, Vegeta says not to, that he will use the Super Dragon Balls in order to get back. Goku doesn't know about the Super Dragon Balls, but Vegeta says his goodbyes and tells Goku to tell goodbyes for him. Goku asks if Vegeta is joking. However, Vegeta has a very stern look on his face and Goku knows that he is not kidding. With that, Vegeta goes to Beerus' planet using his instant transmission. He encounters Whis and tells him to take him to Grand Priest. Whis inquires on why, however Vegeta says that he would like to go home, and by home, he means his actual timeline. Whis tells Vegeta that he knew this was coming, and so he tells Shin to go and pick them up. Shin arrives using his Kai and then tells him to go to Grand Priest, more specifically to transfer them all to Zeno's world. Shin does so, and then they arrive. Grand Priest immediately greets them, and then Vegeta goes, bows, and then tells Grand Priest that he would like to have a word with him. Grand Priest listens, and then Vegeta explains his entire story. Grand Priest is amazed that all of that happened and tells Vegeta that he will get the Dragon Balls so that he could come back. In a split moment, Grand Priest gets all 7 Super Dragon Balls in one place and then summons them. Grand Priest verifies that Vegeta wants to go back and Vegeta says yes, and so Daishinkan does the wish. Vegeta disappears from the timeline and reappears back in his original timeline right when he disappeared. Everyone gets confused what's going on, and then they see Vegeta perfectly fine. They all ask him where he has been and what's been going on. However, Vegeta says not much, although he has lived an entire life basically in another realm.